What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to 876 United Facts TV. And I'm your boy Tash Brian.
Alongside Mario. How are you doing?
Welcome back, guys. So today, as you will see by the title, it is entitled Sell to Buy. Now, we're going to just discuss some players who we believe
should depart. Players who should just loan and bring them back after a time. Players who should stay. That's just basically it.
And of course, players that we should sell, as he said, in order to get players who we would use moving forward. So before we get into all of those stuff, guys, I just want to update you guys on the latest Manchester news. So the Manchester Evening News and the Mirror has stated that Raphael Varane has landed in England. So there will be no official announcement of Varane as yet. I know we are long awaiting this, guys, because we heard about just about a week ago that he's officially a Manchester United player. But here's the thing: he had some issues regarding his visa to come to England, and now it has been rectified, so he has landed in England.
Just that he needs to do the mandatory quarantine. Can't skip that, guys. It's protocols.
Yes, and then about by mid next week we will see an announcement of the player. You know, we'll see him holding up the shirt, and all of this animosity around Varane can be done and dusted, and we can proceed. Alright, so some other news as well. Pogba, as you guys may be aware, if you follow Manchester United's official Instagram page, Twitter, all the social media platforms, you will see that Pogba is back at training, Bruno is back at training, David De Gea is back at training, and they're all back from their summer vacation. So they're all in the frame of mind to begin their preseason,
which opens next week Saturday.
Well, the final preseason game, we're not sure if they will.
They won't take part.
Yeah, which is Saturday coming. And final news, guys. You want to take it away?
Dean Henderson has contracted the COVID-19 virus, so therefore he will be out for a minimum 2 weeks. So De Gea is expected to have the likelihood to start next week Saturday, opening our account for the first match of the season. So players are in high spirit, high hopes, and we're looking for a strong encounter, a strong start.
Yes, that will be against Leeds. So, alright, let's get into what today's video is actually about, which is selling to buy. Alright, so if you guys watched my our previous video rather, you'll know that I spoke about, of course, two central defensive midfielders who I am very much so comfortable that we can sign. But Fabrizio Romano has announced that in order for Manchester United to get possibly one of those players or even any other player for this window, we need to sell some players, because as you guys know, we have gotten in Varane and Sancho thus far, and all our loaned players are back at the club, and it doesn't seem as though, you know, they are going anywhere. So in order for us to get some players,
we need to sell. Second to that, we all know about the whole coronavirus crisis. So therefore, the funds, the budget is not so heavy. So in order to bring in, we need to clear out.
Right.
So first order of the business, before we begin, actually, I should say, at the end, we'd like you to share your feedback. Tell us which players you would want to see stay, which players you don't want to go, which players you think we should loan, and why. So first order of business, we're starting with Jesse Lingard. What do you think about that player?
Well, based on his last few months in the Premier League at West Ham, I think we should keep the player. But you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even though he had a good second half of the season, we know he may still not decide to exercise his squad rotation, because when you look at the Europa finals, you know, he could have made some substitutions, but he didn't do those things, and it cost us the trophy. But now let's get back to Lingard. Now that is why I'm kind of reluctant that Jesse should stay, but I want him to stay. But there's some doubt for me for him to stay, and the club has valued him at 30 million, but I think he's actually valued a little less at 25 million pounds. And I think if we need to get our marquee CDM, he is one player that we can maximize in the window in order to raise some funds. What say you?
Well, alright. My take on it is that for the ending of the Premier League season, the last 3 months, right? Jesse Lingard has been a pivotal player for West Ham, and I think, based on statistics, he has been the best player in the Premier League for that 3 months, right? He has racked up the numbers, and he has always been up there. His goals per ratio average is very extensive, and he has been doing well. So I don't think Manu should go ahead and
Selling.
sell that player, a player of that caliber, a player of that type, because what he can give on his best days is what we actually need, what we are certain we need. Not every day Bruno Fernandes is going to put on a stellar performance. We have seen it in the latter part of the season. He just faded away. He gave literally nothing. So therefore, we need that challenge, that competition, whereas someone else can come and give that added spark, right? Jesse Lingard is that type of player. He is that quality. We have seen it at West Ham. So he hasn't just proven himself at Manchester United. He's proven himself at West Ham. And overall, he has proven himself within the league. So therefore, losing Jesse Lingard is a major loss for Manchester United because we won't have a player to back up his departure. Who can we bring in to replace Jesse Lingard, who is currently in the squad to replace him? You saw when he went out on loan, there was nobody to fill his boots. So I think he's a definite keep. I would keep him.
Well, that there you have it. We have two different sides of the coin. I agree with him, that I would want him to stay, but based on what Ole does
But
over the season and so on, I'm not confident that he will get the amount of game time that he deserves. So that's where I have my doubts.
you can't have a player like that on the bench and not play. So I am confident he'll get game time.
All right,
So
so
moving on to
to another
Andres
player
Pereira.
who was on loan, but this player was at loan at Lazio, the Italian club, and he's Andreas Pereira. Now, what say you about Pereira?
He was a bright talent coming through the academy. I mean, he put up some insane numbers at a young level, at a youth level, I should say. We sent him out on loan twice. He did well. He was Valencia player of the season when he was there on loan. He was very pivotal for Las Palmas in La Liga.
Mm-hmm.
So he has proven himself outside of Manchester United, and that's the issue. He has proven himself outside and not within. So therefore, it only goes to show one thing, and I can only say this one thing about Andres Pereira. He's a good player outside of Manchester United. He's a very good player, just not for Manchester United. So keeping him would be a liability to the club, seeing that we have to afford his wages, and he's not actually giving anything for the dollars that we're spending on him. So technically, he's good. He's a Brazilian, of course. So he has that little bit of edge. Not a bad dribbler, not a bad passer either. He's a dead ball specialist. However, he just does not bring to the table. So therefore, it's a definite sell for me, and I would value him at about 10 to 15 million. Probably if we
Well, not so
negotiate
high,
well,
but 5 to 10 for me. But yeah,
with proper negotiations, probably we can even get him for 25 mil because we have seen the market these days, right?
selling. Mm-hmm.
So it would definitely be a sell for me.
I agree totally. Just to highlight some of the points in it, dead ball specialist. He's a dribbler.
Good passer.
He can pass as well. Um, but here's the thing.
He's just not doing that for Manchester United.
Yeah, I think out of the Premier League, not just Manchester United, outside of the Premier League, I think he can make himself known in other leagues across Europe. But I think the Premier League is just
Not his
too.
level.
Yes, he's a tad below the Premier League. So I would agree with Gallup saying that look, he needs to leave, and I would value him at about the region 5 million, 5 to 10, between 5 and 15 million euros or pounds rather. And I said earlier in a video that Fenerbahce is interested, and Pereira seems as though he's interested in seeking other options outside of England. So he's a sell for me.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next player we're moving on to is Juan Mata.
One
Now,
what has been. arguably a club veteran. Arguments are being made.
No, he is
He's
a
a
club veteran.
arguments are being made. He's a legend as well. Of course, he has done his part for Manchester United. He was there when the ship was sinking, and he helped kept it afloat. However, not every star shines every day. So his time came to an end. I mean, he was a very good player, but not anymore. He's no longer at the level. We saw David Silva leaving Manchester City in order to give rise to Phil Foden, and the youngsters are stepping up, right? I think
Gundogan and so on. Those players
yes.
got more game time when he
So
left.
I think this is revelation for us. We need one matter to say, okay, it is my time. I have done my best. It's now my time to make space and move out the way for the youngsters because he can't add any more than he have done before. He's just going down. He's declining. Very good player. However, he's not able to keep up anymore. So I think it's best for Manchester United to make at least the smallest profit of matter before we lose him for nothing because he's not adding anything. So might as well we trying to get something out of him that's not football wise but in monetary terms.
And yeah, I agree with you that he should leave, and I think he's actually the catalyst to, whether or not Jesse Lingard should stay, because alright, you cannot have both Jesse Lingard and Juan Mata in your squad, as understudies to Bruno. You have to have one or the other, because remember, we have Van de Beek in the squad already, and we have Scott McTominay and Fred in the squad. So, which are players we'll get into as we go along. So, yeah, as such, I think that's why I'm a little bit reluctant, because I think Oli sort of favors Mata more than Lingard, hence why Mata stayed at United to rub the bench, and Lingard went to seek other opportunities.
Opportunities.
So that's why I'm saying, if Mata is sold, which I doubt because he extended his contract to another year, so I think Mata should leave for at least 5 million.
5 million tops. Yeah.
So now the next player, which
Well,
don't laugh, guys.
we have to generalize this one. All right, we
Scott
can't just
McTominay.
we can Macfred because we can't just single him out. We have to call him collectively. No, over the last 1.5 to 2 seasons, we have seen that partnership. They have grown together. They have settled together. They have done crap together, right? However, the issue with Macfred now is that there are two and we can only have one. So there are two players in which you can only keep one of them. Because the real issue is that with a midfield of Bruno and Pogba, and we're seeking an additive player, which would be a defensive midfielder. Both McTominay and Fred occupy that role. So therefore, with McTominay and Fred occupying that defensive midfield role, along with Matic still being at the club, getting a new defensive midfielder would only be mayhem because we'd have four defensive midfielders and we can only play the game with one. So therefore, in order to accommodate the new signing, we then have to take one out. We have to let one go.
Mm-hmm.
Not one, sorry. We have to let two out of the four go because we only need a starter and a backup. A defensive midfielder is not like a winger or support where you need depth in that position. You just need two persons who can fill the gap. So
Yeah,
one of them needs to go, and they're not. I don't think either of them is at the standard of or quality of Manchester United. They have just thrown in the pool and expected to swim because we had no one there. So we need somebody that can come in, be of quality, allow Mark, Fred, which one of them it may be that's staying, to learn from this defensive midfielder, and in the long run, they can actually show us something or give us class. But as it stands, neither of them are good enough. So keeping both of them is a massive loss for Manchester United. We cannot go on another season with a midfield of Matt Fred. It does not work for us.
And I agree that one of them should leave. Either one that leaves is fine for me. And in other words, to what Gallup is saying, it's actually two persons doing a one man's job, which I think shouldn't happen, because it shouldn't be that you have to literally push Pogba on the wing to accommodate McTominay and Fred, because as you guys may be aware by watching the channel, it takes away from our attack. And
it doesn't contribute greatly to our defense either.
yes, because a lot of our goals are coming
It's
through the
middle
middle.
of the park, and you're
But
supposed to be shielding the defenders from these attackers.
right,
You're supposed to pick up the
but
runs, make interceptions.
that is why I'm happy with the signing of Rafael Varane, because now it facilitates our defense to be more solidified and for us to be more comprehensive moving forward, because Rafael Varane is a ball playing centre back. So too Harry Maguire. And both of them are solid in their own respect. So now there is absolutely no need to have a double pivot in which their sole duty is to defend. Now we need one that shields the back line, that progresses the ball from the defense to the attack. That's what we need now. And you need the other pivot, if we play in a double pivot, to be a more attack-minded midfielder. So that is why I'm saying you cannot have McTominay and Freddie in the squad now. You have to have one out of the two there in the squad. So Manchester United has a big dilemma. So even if we manage to get in a Saul Niguez or a Ruben Neves for argument's sake, there is still some problems if you have both McTominay and Fred in the squad, because also, if you realize, Ole seems to prefer to play them. Because if you are putting Pogba on the wing, it means that you're rather having them than
exactly.
putting Pogba.
It means they're important to you and your tactics.
Right.
But then, does Ole even have any tactics? But we're moving on, right?
Yes. So
another person that we desperately need to get rid of now is the great Phil Jones. So he does not. He's not a Manchester United player. I don't know why he's at the club. He's just there.
He's a sick bay specialist. If you ask Phil Jones if he knows the persons in the hospital, he can tell them from the security guard go straight
to the
in.
janitor, to the nurse, to the doctor, who a head doctor, who just start.
Even even know the contractor at the hospital.
And who will it. So Phil Jones, we don't really have much to say on him other than the fact that
it's self-explanatory, guys.
Yeah, and it's a real shame because Sir Alex Ferguson once predicted him to be Manchester United's best player and the captain of England, so to be in the future, right?
I mean, honestly, though, when Fergie days, he had that potential. Yeah, don't get us wrong, but as the years progressed, he regressed significantly. Injuries came along, and you know that after a while he fell off, because even getting in some controversial situations, even being memed about, diving headers, own goals, and all of those things. So for me, it is self-explanatory. I won't even spend long on Phil Jones.
I think the issue with him, though, is that defenders of his caliber was forgotten in the 2010 eras, because he's a defender who solely defends, right? He's not the one to run up in the box, give a darting header. He's not a ball playing defender, no. He's just solely molded to defend. And nowadays, when
he's old-fashioned.
Yeah, when you look at it, the football is moving away from defenders who only defend. We're moving to a back three system where you need to get forward, you need to make runs, you need to attack,
ball playing center
you need
backs.
to contribute to the attack, right? So therefore, there's no real need for a defender who solely defends, because you have a midfielder who is a defensive midfielder sitting right in front of you, who is going to drop back. He's the one who's supposed to be doing majority of the defending, while the defenders are just supposed to do their thing.
Map up.
Exactly.
And also why it is not a necessity for Phil Jones to remain is because you have Tuanzebe there, you have Eric Bailly there, Lindelof there, of course Maguire there, and now Rafael Varane. So there's 5 persons ahead of him in the pecking order. So it doesn't make any sense, and it's not feasible on his part to stay.
And it's not like you can rotate him, because you don't play 5 cup matches per season.
And he's always injured.
Exactly. So we need to get rid of him.
So there's interest from Newcastle United and a couple championship teams.
Rumors are out that Portmore United wants Phil Jones. So we will probably be seeing him in the Jamaican Premier League. Maybe he can get a start there.
Big. Alright, so let's move along.
We even touched on Alex Tuanzebe. We need to get him out because he's a youngster that came up through the academy, but
Axel,
there's no real threat and there's no vision, there's no future for him when you look at it. Eric Bailly has signed a long-term contract. Victor Lindelof is there and he will have a say. He wants to prove a point. He has been the long-term centre back choice for so long, 4 seasons
To be
going.
honest with you,
He is
Lindelof
cemented in the
forgot
squad.
about in business now.
But he's
A
there.
soft soap that
He's there. He's there. We have Harry Maguire, £80 million. There's no way he can be replaced. No way he can be replaced. Even if we had Ramos and Varane coming to Manchester United, we would then have to play a back three because we cannot drop that player. We have Rafael Varane coming in. So, therefore, the future of
Victor
Axel
so
Zwanzebe,
Tuanzebe.
it just does not fit Manchester United, for he has no future. He's not going to break out because even in the cup matches we have two centre back pairings, Lindelof and Bailly. So, and there's no way he's going to start in the Premier League matches, especially if it's of importance. And even if it's not of importance, as I said, we have two centre back pairings who are on the bench who are ready to pounce at every game and give it their all. So the best hopes for him is to leave Manchester United as it stands in order to get game time or continue his career as a footballer. Other than that, he'll just be a spectator.
And then the funny thing, guys, he is going to sign a new contract in order to increase his value because he's going to the end of his current contract. And that for me doesn't make any sense. So what he's actually on for Manchester United at this point in time is a loan list. I think Manchester United should cash in, especially if we have Varane now, because as Gallup said, we have Varane and Maguire as our favored partnership.
Which will be a partnership.
Right? And then now we have Eric Bailly and Lindelof. So it doesn't make sense. He's probably in a similar situation to Phil Jones, as sad as it sounds. Because for me, I would send Lindelof instead of Axel Tuanzebe, because Tuanzebe to me, I think he's more sturdy and aggressive than Lindelof. Yeah, because
faster as well.
And faster, because it cannot be that a player who played tremendously well in the Champions League against PSG, the finalists of the previous season, and for the life of me, he cannot even get another game in the season.
That doesn't make sense.
And then a player such as Lindelof, who gets bullied constantly on the pitch, gets game time week in, week out. So there is clearly no future for Axel Tuanzebe at Manchester United. So I think take a loan move to buy Aston Villa or Newcastle, wherever he is going on a loan to, and move on. Because I think he reminds me of Jesse Lingard a few months ago. Now, another player who we're going to speak about is Daniel James. Now, a lot of persons say, no man, this player is supposed to be on the bench and blah 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 blah.
He's not supposed to be on the bench. He's not supposed to be in the team.
Now, I just want to go first for this one because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was sort of excited 2 years ago when we bought him because he looked, when you watch the highlights and you're looking at how Swansea, that's where he came from,
Swansea, yeah.
When he was playing for Swansea, he was very dynamic, energetic. But when he came to Manchester United, of course, he had that little fairy tale beginning. He scored on his debut, what have you, and so on. But after that, we saw what he actually is. Now,
a flop.
I wouldn't say a flop. I probably would say he's overhyped.
Yeah,
he was overhyped. Now, he's good to have in the squad, but when you have talent such as Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri, I think we should decide to cash in because it has been 2 years now and he's still not showing that he can do it at this level.
Exactly.
I think he's at the level of the Championship or some other league. I think he'll do well in
Scottish Premier League. I think he'll do well for Rangers or somewhere in that category.
Yes, and probably the Italian league as well.
No, definitely not.
Why I say Italian league? Yes, we know Italian league is known to be defensive and so on. But remember, Daniel James is a very fast player, so they can use him like how Italy use Chiesa in the Euros. So if he's in a proper system that suits how he plays, he can do well. So
I just have one thing to say about Daniel James. He cannot play football and he needs to leave the club. He adds nothing to attack. He is not good. He cannot play football. He needs to leave Manchester United. Moving on from Daniel James because he's a waste to talk about. We have Nemanja Matic.
Nemanja Matic.
Nemanja Matic. Oh god, I'm thinking of Vidic. Alright.
So,
For me, Matic has been a standard performer ever since he has came to Manchester United. However, his time, it just ran out. He's getting older. He's losing fitness. He's not up to the level anymore. So I think the best possible thing to do in best hopes of Nemanja Matic along with Manchester United is to let him go. Cash in on him, get a 5 million the least. We need to let go a player like this because whilst he's our only natural defensive midfielder, we still cannot compensate for him because he's not giving us what we need at the moment. Football is evolving, football is getting faster, it's getting better, it's getting more competitive. However, Matic is not up to standard with the game anymore. The game is going away, leaving. Yeah, he's still a good player, however, it's just that his quality is declining whilst the game is on an incline. It's rapidly improving. We are seeing faster wingers. Teams have now deployed new tactics in order to work around players without pace. And having a player like that without pace covering your backline, he won't get back quick enough. He just won't keep up with the plays of the game. So therefore, having Nemanja Matic right now, it's a bit of a risk for Manchester United. So we need to let go of this defensive midfielder in order to get a way better defensive midfielder. So it would be a win-win situation.
Yeah, I agree totally. When he just came from Chelsea, class. Nothing could stop him. He was even, in my opinion, better than Kante at the time. Alright? So don't come at me in the comment section, Chelsea fans. At the time, he was a better player than Kante when he came. Right? But right now, his legs are done. He's not up to the standard of the Premier League.
He's way past maturity.
Yeah, because there was even rumors circulating that he was supposed to be the second option for Jose Mourinho in Roma. I think the Italian league's pace is just right for Matic. So I won't even divulge too much in Matic. I think he should go. So at the end of it all, guys, let's do the maths. So we spoke about Lingard first, about 25 million, right? So let's do the maths, guys. 25 million. Yeah. And then we spoke about Pereira. So we'll do it. We'll get in the calculator. Give us a second, guys. So 20.
Roughly we'll make 55 million.
Hold on. So 25 plus Pereira 10 million.
Roughly 55.
And then 5 million for Mata.
If we're selling either
Scott McTominay or Fred is our next 15 million in my opinion. Because the club might make their valuation as that. Then Phil Jones, 5 million, the most.
1 million.
Or even that, but let's not disrespect the player. 5 million. Tuanzebe, our next $15 million. Then
Dan James is nothing less than 20 million.
20 million there. Then Matic 15 million. So at the end of it all, if we can get all these players sold, which I doubt will happen,
for the right price and proper negotiation,
we'll be able to accumulate 110 million pounds.
And just selling transfers. So
right, so there we can raise money for Declan Rice and whosoever else we want.
Whoever is overpriced, because then we could have afforded it.
Yeah. Now, so let's move on to the
loanees now. Who do you think should loan? Henceforth, who do you think that we sent out on loan and should have been called back in? Well, let's start with James Garner. Right, we spoke about having a defensive midfielder. We spoke about sending away the likes of Nemanja Matic. We need a shift in McFred. However, the only natural CDM after Matic at the club is James Garner. However, he's always been on loan.
Yeah, but
So the point of being on loan is to gain experience, right? So do you think he has had enough experience, and would you think it's time to give him a chance in the Manchester United
I
midfield and
mean,
prove his worth and see what he's doing? He's looked fine in pre-season. He's been showing his class. However, is it time for him to prove himself in the Premier League, or should he go back on loan?
I think he should go back on loan because yes, he has been doing good on his loan spells, but I think to come back in the boiling water right now, I don't think is the best thing because I don't think he's matured enough yet. I think he needs a loan spell in the Premier League first, and let us see how he handles the Premier League before we can say bam. You understand what I'm saying? So as it stands, I don't think McTominay or Fred will be sold or will get any other midfielder in. So I think we should loan Garner, and I think he might be the guy who changes things if we don't get a marquee CDM in place.
Hold on. Oh, what I believe though, if we don't get rid of McFred, but we get rid of Matic, why not bring him back in the club and allow him to occupy that space that Matic would occupy? And
Well,
in turn, he will give us the opportunity to let us give him the benefit of the doubt, because he will then be able to prove himself in Premier League matches, in cup matches, and we will see how best the team goes forward with him.
well, in that regard, yes, I would want him to stay, but as it stands now, Matic is staying at United. So as such, Garner should get a loan spell in the Premier League. He should go to he can play for a Norwich City or even a Brentford who just got promoted. So if he gets a loan spell there to kind of show us what he can do, fine. But right now, Matic is at the club, and it seems as though Matic is one of the favored guys, second option. So it doesn't make sense. And
Next, we have
Elanga,
another exciting academy talent. Now, he has stepped up one or two times in the first team last season, and he has shown glimpses of what he can do. However, that is being shadowed by his constant mistakes. So therefore, I don't think promoting him to the first team as it stands is a good idea. I think he needs to first go out to a lesser club in order to gain some experience, learn a little bit more about football, show his class there in order to step up. And I think if he does that, then surely we'll be looking for a player that can be the future of Manchester United in the coming years.
I agree, but to be honest with you, I think that Amad Diallo and Fekunda Pelestri, they have something that is better than Elanga at the moment. I know that a lot of the Manchester United fans who may tune in say, "Oh, what you talking about, Elanga? Da da da," and he scored this and that. But just take a second and just think about it. Look at how Pelestri played on his loan spell, and look at how he played in the few
In
preseason
preseason
games.
games.
Pelestri looks more um good on the ball. He takes care of the ball better than Elanga in my opinion, and so on. He looks more developed, probably because Pelestri has been playing first team football from when he was in South America. Yes, everybody can bash the South American league and call it a bush league, but a lot of players who come from that league come to Europe and shine, guys. So let us not discredit that league. So I think he has something special in him, those two players, in Pelestri and Diallo. So I think instead of loaning Pelestri, I think we should loan Elanga and keep Pelestri in the squad.
Who I think we should keep is a youngster called Shortire, because he reminds me of a Rashford that came through the ranks of Manchester United. And when you look at it, out of all our wingers last season, the few glimpses that we had on Shortire, he was the only winger to show a natural minded mentality going forward. He played just like a winger. He went forward with brilliance and he dominated in his era. So I think out of the many Out of the many youngsters that is, Shorter is actually our best hope, and I don't want to see this player go on loan, knowing that Marcus Rashford has just done a shoulder surgery. I think Shorter should start. Actually, he should be kept and given a start, just as our 18-year-old Marcus Rashford was given a start and he proven himself in the Premier League.
Well, I wouldn't say start. I kind of disagree with you. Yes, that's your opinion. I can't bash you, and you have your reasons for that. But I disagree because yes, you have Rashford going to do a surgery, So I don't think Shortire is the best player. You have to wait. Shortire has not developed yet, and then you have Greenwood who is there, and don't forget we have Sancho there. But I think the player who will get the nod is Sancho.
No, we're talking about left wing now.
Oh, sorry. I think the player who should get the nod is Greenwood. Because Sancho can play left or right wing. So I don't think Shortire should start. I think Shortire should be a part of the squad, but not starting. Alright. So moving on to another academy player in Mengi, who is a centre back. He went on loan last year. I'm not going to spend any long on this, and I don't think he will as well.
No, the obvious reason is he
loan him again.
Yeah, because he look at the centre back depth and he's nowhere amongst any of them to challenge. So he's a definite loan.
Alright, so next player.
Well, the two controversies right now is our right back and our left back. Diego Dalot being our right back, Brandon Williams being our left back. These are two youngsters, ages 20 and 19 years old.
22 and 19.
So what should we do with them? We have left back is already filled with the likes of Luke Shaw, who is arguably one of the best left backs in the world, and also Alex Telles, the Brazilian, who we know haven't had the best starts for the first season, but we know his quality, we know his talent is there. So there's no real danger posed by Brandon Williams. He cannot really break forward into that team, so therefore his best hopes right now is not to stay at Manchester United trying to find a starting position, because he just won't get it. So I think Brandon Williams definitely needs to go on loan. However, the loan cannot happen outside of the Premier League. He needs to be in a Premier League club. That's the only sensible reason. Over with Diego Dalot now, we only have Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. However, we are being linked with Kieran Trippier. So therefore, if we have Bissaka, who is our first choice right back and the best right back in the game, one-on-one, there's no real need to have Diego Dalot staying when we're trying to get the likes of Kieran Trippier as well. Because Kieran would be the backup, and you can't have a backup for a backup, which would be Diego Dalot. So I think the best possible thing to do with these two fullbacks is to send them out on loan and get experience. However, yeah, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is long term. I don't know if Kieran Trippier would be long term. So, would it be possible? We are sending out Diego Dalot on loan, option to buy. So, would selling him be the right option? Would that be justified in any way, or be just of justice to Manchester United?
Well,
because we are going to need him in the future, or we can just splash the cash on another right back when it's time for Kieran to depart.
Well, in all honesty, I said it in a video earlier. I don't think we should sell our loan Dalot, but our manager doesn't favor him, and that's why we're in this predicament. And I know a lot of persons may not even agree with me as well, because when you look at Dalot playing for AC Milan, he played very well. He showed that he can do a job. It's just that he's not favored, and these are some of the politics that you may see in football. I'm not getting into the politics now. But my thing is, I disagree with selling him or loaning him, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs competition, and I think Diego Dalot is good competition, because what Wan-Bissaka is strong in, Diego Dalot what Dalot is strong in, Wan-Bissaka is not strong in. So when you look at Diego Dalot's game, he is very good on the attacking side, but defensively, I don't think there's any right back in the world who is as sturdy as Wan-Bissaka. But my point is, The constant issue with Wan-Bissaka is his attacking side of his game. So why are you going to get rid of a player such as Dalot, who can do the job attacking, to get Trippier? I mean, Trippier is a good all-round right back, but the problem with me and Trippier is his age, and that's just it. Why would you get rid of a 22-year-old substitute right back that can attack and just needs tweaking on his defensive aspect of his game? It's just down to coaching. So my thing is, keep Dalot. Yes, you may want Trippier, but I would keep
No,
Dalot.
I don't think it's a matter of me wanting Trippier or the club wants Trippier. I think the club needs Trippier. Let me tell you why. Let me explain it this way.
You're going to say the Telles thing?
Having Manchester United having Bissaka and Dalot, right? It just does not work because you need competition for Bissaka. Dalot was not producing that competition. However, I don't think we need Trippier for the long run. We actually need to use him. Use him in the sense to get the best out of Wan-Bissaka. Bissaka can learn from an experienced player who proved himself in the Premier League and La Liga and proven himself as England's best right back. So the whole point of getting Trippier is to better Bissaka going forward.
But
so
I get that.
It's for Bissaka to make up on what he doesn't
have. I don't
have.
think we need to have two of that happening, because you already has the stress of when Telles just came to decide between Telles and Luke Shaw, and obviously Luke Shaw became the victorious left back. But the thing is, we don't need all of that stress right now. We need. My thing is, I am prioritizing a CDM. So having Dalot to be in competition with Wan-Bissaka is not a problem for me. Plus, when he went on loan, he had something to prove. And for me, he showed that he can do a job. That's why I was saying, keep him. When he was on loan, he showed his value. He showed that he can attack, and he did pretty good on the defensive side as well. At that, he even played left back for AC Milan at times. So I'm saying he can be competition for Wan-Bissaka once he has something to prove, and I believe that if he stays at United, he will give competition to Wan-Bissaka. No. Alright, guys.
So that's it for the day.
Before we close off, people, like no man.
Watch the thing. Watch the song.
I mean, if you click on it, you're watching it, but you need to subscribe, man. Everybody clicking on the video and not subscribing.
Yeah, like it. Leave a comment, by the way.
And click the bell. Click the bell now.
Make it ring. So guys, remember, we know who you are. Come on, guys. Show us some love and support.
Yeah, and we're not tell you foolishness, you know. We're tell you facts. Hence, United Facts TV. See there? See there? A facts you talk, you know.
Guys, just come out, like, share, subscribe. Tell all your grandmother about it.
Tell your girlfriend. Tell your auntie. Tell your uncle.
No worry, we're not take her. Well, guys, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment every now and then, please.
And we're out. Thanks for watching, guys.